Welcome to another edition of Symposium Sports. And this is the weekend recap of all the NFL news for week 4, but also other news from other sports in the world. So let's get right into it. So we're going to talk about the Carl Anthony Towns trade to the New York Knicks. What do you think about that trade?
Carl Anthony Towns to the New York Knicks. Um, I think the Knicks got a good player out of there, but you know, I don't know. We gotta start over. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
No, I'm saying Carl Anthony Towns, that's a good trade, but what do you think? Who do you think won that trade more? The Knicks or the Timberwolves?
The Timberwolves, I think.
And why is that? They got Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo.
I just think they could have got better talent, with the draft picks and Carl Anthony Towns. He's probably on the downside of his career.
So you're saying the Knicks they got the less, the Timberwolves got the best of. That's what you're saying.
I think it's an equal trade, but I'm saying in the future, I'll say the Timberwolves will pull something off with that trade.
Yeah, because see, I personally believe that Carl Anthony Towns to the New York Knicks, it was just a name. They got a name. That's all they pretty much got. And I think they want to give Nas Reed. They want to give him some more playing time, and he was effective, especially in that series against the Denver Nuggets. So I think that's why they made the trade. And Carl Anthony Towns in that series, he would be a liability. When they would be playing defense, he would get in foul trouble real quick. So
Hmm? Yeah, I agree with that because yeah, they just need to sell some tickets, you know. So I guess they win in that aspect. Get to get some more interest in the team. But
yeah, I think that's where they went.
when it
New
when it
York really
comes
ain't had
to
no big names in years. So I agree with
yeah,
you.
yeah, I think
All
they
right, so let's change gears to college football. Coach Prime looks like he got the team back together again. Their record is 4-1. They're 2-0 in Big 12 play. What do you think about what Coach Prime is doing with Colorado?
um I think Coach Prime doing his thing. Honestly, there's some things that he could, definitely improve on, of course. But right now, I think he's in a good position with the team. I just let's see, likes and dislikes. I like how he just turned the whole program around. Like not even just football, like with everything. But dislikes. That's what people don't really talk about when it comes to Coach Prime. You know, great coach. I just think he needs to be more considerate of his players' future, like Travis Hunter in particular. Um, he's a great player. Like, he has his whole future ahead of him. There's no reason he should be playing in the fourth quarter when you up by 20 points. He plays every play. Like, I just think they should definitely take that into consideration. I know he wants to keep the momentum going and get the stats, but Travis Hunter has no more to prove. So once the job is done, the job is done. I don't think he should be doing all the extra stuff that Coach
I
Prime.
totally agree with that. I don't want to overuse the talented player. Like, in my opinion, Travis Hunter is the best player in college football, and it's not even close. People will be bringing up the kid from Alabama yesterday and stuff like that. But no, overall, he is definitely the best player in college football, in my opinion. And I don't
Yeah.
want his talent to get wasted when he gets to the NFL. I want him to be fresh, just like he is right now. But, he's doing something that is amazing, playing both sides of the ball, and he's
He
doing
is.
it at a level no one else has. So,
He is. I just want him to continue to have that level of playing, for a long time.
right. And I totally agree with that. So, yes. And then also the Alabama Georgia game. That game right there, Alabama was destroying Georgia in the first part.
Yeah, it
Georgia
was
fought
about
back and then took
28
the
to 0.
lead. But that play, it really destroyed them. Ryan
Yeah.
Williams, the 17-year-old, what an amazing play. That was amazing
Ryan Williams,
effort
he is,
right
yeah. Like, yeah, by the time he's gets a little older, oh man, he's gonna develop into something real good.
there.
But
Yes,
yeah,
he will.
he changed the momentum of the game a few times, plenty times. Travis Hunter style, yeah, he did that.
Yeah, so we'll definitely be seeing him in the future. Another a player in college football that I was very impressed with was Jeremiah Smith for the Ohio State Buckeyes. If you have not seen him play yet, you need to go look at his highlight.
And I
Very impressive
haven't.
wide receiver
You said Jeremiah Smith, right?
for Ohio State, number
Yeah,
4.
yeah, yeah. I've seen some interviews on him. I just haven't watched the highlight too.
Yeah, he is an impressive player for Ohio State. They really lucked out with that. I mean, he made me forget about uh, the guy that they already have on the team and Marvin Harrison Jr. But with how good he's been playing, and he was very impressive in that game against Michigan State.
Dang, Marvin Harrison Jr. So he's that good, huh?
Yeah, he's actually, in my opinion, he probably is better than
Yeah.
him right now after a few games. That's how good this kid Jeremiah Smith was. He had I think he had about 3 one-handed catches in the game alone yesterday. Like, I couldn't believe some of this stuff he was doing, and he's only a freshman as well. So I definitely like how he plays overall. So let's change up gears and let's talk about these NFL Week 4 games. We're going to start with the home team, the Broncos and the Jets. How did the Broncos even win that game?
Defense and God's grace. no, no, but they overall, the offense struggled, but they figured it out, and they got the running game going today. Javonte Williams, he played a good game, and he needed that. He needed to bounce back from the prior weeks, and things weren't really going his way. But he opened up the offense with the running game, and it was real. The weather was real bad too, so I give both teams, hands down because I can't even imagine, like.
Yes, that game right there was real. That hurricane is a tropical storm now. It's obviously, you seen it in the Baltimore game. It's like it was all over the
Yeah,
place.
well, I
So
guess
those conditions, I definitely
it'll,
understand, but
it'll take.
those have been some ugly. That was some ugly football at the end of the day. But
Yeah.
right now they're 2-2. And how do you feel about Bo Nix? I still am a little worried about Bo Nix because I can't really, gauge him after these first 4 games. I really can't.
Yeah, I feel you, but I think he's coming into his own. He's just starting. First few games, and he has some heart. He got heart. I'll say that. Like he's not scared to throw his body on the line, but we need to still improve. Protecting him. Like he gets a lot of pressures. Like, but I think he'll develop into a well-rounded quarterback pretty soon.
I agree with you. I think he has time to definitely do that. It's just right now after the first four weeks, if somebody asked me if he's already NFL ready, I would definitely say no. I got to see him live and up close when the Steelers came here to play the Broncos, and I did see, some stuff that's what rookies do. And a lot of people were saying he was already ready. Being named a team captain as a rookie is very impressive, but that still doesn't mean you're ready. But I think he will be good in the long run. But right now, I would just say he's still not NFL ready yet. But he's 2-2, wins or wins. And that's all that matters in the NFL at the end of the day. Another
But
matchup that
to be a lot of the case to become NFL ready, you got to experience some NFL. So,
right.
people do go into the league like that, and hats off to them. But there's he's the sixth quarterback taken.
Yes.
So like yeah, so for him in his position, that's a lot to ask for.
And you
But
got to also remember, a player like Patrick Mahomes, he did not start his first year. A lot of people need to realize that. He
player
actually got his
like
NFL experience watching Alex Smith, and
player
then
like
he played at the end of the first year.
Tom Brady included.
Right. Tom Brady as well. He did not play the first year.
We were talking about some of the greatest setback. Like Jordan Love, like he did okay today, but he sat back and he got a lot of experience from Aaron Rodgers for years. So I think that's well needed.
Yeah, sometimes when you throw these guys straight out there, it just sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. We've seen Mark Sanchez's, we've seen Sam Bradford's. They've been thrown out there, then they faded out. They didn't have long-term careers. But it just depends on the player. For example, Jaden Daniels for the Washington Commanders,
No man,
82% completion
he
percentage. That is very impressive.
man, he's really impressive. Yes, he is. Like he has stepped in there, and when you talk about NFL ready, that's NFL ready. He's one of those rare ones that you know just picked it up real fast. He adapted to the league quick.
And you know where I think some of that could come from too? You got to remember who his coach was at Arizona State when he was there. It was Herm Edwards,
Yeah.
NFL experienced head coach right there.
Yes.
Also, he had Antonio Pierce on that staff too. So he was already surrounded by NFL, pedigree. And that's going to definitely help him long term. And I think maybe that could be a little answer for some of these other guys, if they get some NFL head coaches at these universities, the player might translate better to the pro level when they get there, and immediately contribute instead of waiting to contribute. That could be a possibility.
It really could because college football coaching and NFL coaching are two totally different worlds,
Right.
And
Nick
like,
Saban.
yeah, Nick Saban, for example. Yeah, exactly. Like college football can't stop him, but the NFL is translated way different and more complex. But for an NFL successful coach from the NFL to go to the college league and teach the college players this NFL stuff before they even get there, I think that's a plus.
Yeah, it definitely worked at USC with Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll wasn't successful at that much on the NFL level when he got to USC, but that definitely helped him become a better coach. He had younger players that were willing to learn the NFL system, and then he did translate that to a Super Bowl win with the Seattle Seahawks. So that definitely can work both ways for coach and player. So I definitely look into that even more regarding that. Let's see, another game that stuck out to me today was the Baltimore Ravens and the Buffalo Bills. What did you think of that matchup?
Um, oh, that was a pretty good one right there. And I'm just really, I'm I like how the Ravens been playing lately. I think they're displaying some good things.
Yes, I think those first two losses they had, people forget they barely lost the first one. They could have probably went into overtime, but they didn't make the play when they needed. The Raider game, I have no idea what happened. They just probably lost. That was that any given Sunday, moment right there. But the last 2 weeks, they've been playing Baltimore Raven football. And I think tonight, I just thought Buffalo was going to come in there. Buffalo is riding high, the first 3 weeks, 3-0. Josh Allen's looking like an MVP. And they just came out flat against Baltimore. And it's not saying that Baltimore is not that Baltimore defenses of the past, but it's not up to that level, in my opinion. But tonight, for some reason, they played old school Baltimore Ravens defense. And that's what really put them over the top in this one. And then adding Derrick Henry to an already great running game that they have with Lamar Jackson, I mean, the team is going to be very tough to beat in the regular season and definitely maybe the playoffs as well if he stays healthy as he has been the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, man, because you know how I feel about Derrick Henry. But and he's about to take it to the next level for them. I think he is the perfect ad this year for the Baltimore Ravens. I think Dallas. They had to move, but he went to the best place I think he could have went to. So proud of
Right. Dallas, they went back to, comfortability, what they knew with Ezekiel Elliott. And they didn't take a chance on Derrick Henry. Obviously, so far, that has been proven a mistake. I mean, he ran for 151 yards against those guys. So,
right.
we have a question from a commenter here. It says, "What's up, guys? A Packers fan here. What did y'all think of the horrendous but somehow close game they played?" I'll let you go ahead first about that game, the Vikings and the Packers.
They was down early, so um, they're very resilient for even coming back like the way they did. I wasn't expecting that, but if they didn't get down so early, I think they probably would have won the game because they really took over the game later on in the the second half. So
All right, I agree with most of that what you said. Yes, Legends F, I appreciate that question. What I think happened in that game, I just think that Sam Darnold, for some reason, he done figured something out in all these years of being in the NFL, and he's playing very good football at the right time. People are going to compare this to his start that he had in Carolina some years back when he was playing really good with that team too.
yeah,
But for some reason, when JJ McCarthy went out, it just thought that they were just going to go away and they weren't going to
right,
be a factor. And that has proven wrong. Also, with the Packers, they also had to deal with that defense of Minnesota. Minnesota Vikings have a very good defense. It's not talked about as much, but it
yeah.
will be talked about in the next few weeks here. But they play really good defense. And the Packers, for you, I wouldn't worry about them losing that game today. The Packers look like they're in some good hands with Jordan Love. I really like what Jordan Love's going to do long
I feel
term for them.
uh, yeah, it's gonna be pretty stable and consistent down the end of the
Right.
season.
Right. So that was just a tough, it's a divisional game, Legends. It's a divisional game, and you got to win some, lose some. Obviously, you want to win those games, especially at home. But I like how the Packers look long term. Minnesota looks like they're going to be a long term as well. So when they play in the dome, because that's going to be the next game they play against them this year. That's going to be probably a Sunday night, matchup that they're going to show. So he also asked, "Am I crazy to think the Packers might have done better with Malik leading the charge?" No, I don't think Malik Willis would have made a big difference in that game. Like
Mm-hmm.
I said, you got to remember Minnesota's defense is just really, really good. they're like a really good defense.
Maybe if Jordan Love wasn't 100%, but Jordan Love's the future. He's who they depending on, so you have to go with Jordan Love.
Right. So, having Malik in there, I don't think it would have made a difference, Legends. I just think that, it was a tough game that they lost today, but you've seen that they fight back. They don't just go away. They could have easily just went away. And then Malik Willis comes in and for relief, playing, garbage time. But the team fought back trying to win the game, but it just wasn't enough at the end. So, I mean, just Minnesota right now, they're 4-0. And unfortunately, Green Bay's 2-2, but they're gonna be meeting each other again in the second meeting of the season, and that one is going to definitely be very much for everything for the division for sure.
This week 4, and the Love's coming back off that injury, and they'll be all right. They'll figure it out.
See, Legend says, I'm just thinking about his mobility and being able to escape some of those pressures that Love wasn't able to. Yeah, that was like a big part of it, but like I just don't think it would have been a difference. Those plays could have been made, but Malik was going to have to eventually throw the ball too. So, it's neither here nor there. We really don't know what would have happened in that scenario. So, but yes, appreciate those questions, Legend. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. Let's see, another matchup that I had found interesting was, let me see here. Yes, the Falcons and the Saints. This matchup was like, it's a very big divisional round, divisional matchup. What did you think about that game? The Saints and the Falcons.
And the Saints. Yeah, I think they still got Taysom Hill involved. The Falcons offense. Hold on, I'm pulling up these highlights and stuff so we can. I want to talk about some specific stuff, but give me just a sec. Go on.
Well, my opinion with the Falcons, one thing that I noticed is that Raheem Moore, he plays, he calls a great defensive game. And, he's going to make sure his defenses are up to par. And I just think New Orleans, they were riding high for those first 2 weeks. Stuff kind of has slowed down a little bit for them. But, long term, I see New Orleans. I think they'll be a playoff team this year, a surprising playoff team. I wouldn't say they're going back to the Drew Brees era quite yet.
Yeah, Derek Carr, because Derek Carr, he's he's been inconsistent, but I think there's going to be a time where he can get things together.
Yeah, and I just think this game, it was just, rivalry. It was intense. They're going to see each other again later, especially in New Orleans. And, the Falcons, they already had that tough loss last week against the Chiefs. So, this was a must win for them to even just keep their season alive and going. So,
right. The Chiefs game. So, what do you think about Kelsey getting being so slow to get back right this year?
With Travis Kelsey, it's definitely the off the field distractions going on. You're dating one of the biggest superstars ever. Like, I mean, she has people called Swifties, and as fans, I mean, it's a lot doing that. And I just think it could be getting to him just a little bit. Not only that, you're on an NFL Super Bowl winning team. The team has been, winning for years. You built a great, thing there. I mean, plus you're dealing with a quarterback who's on a whole nother level. Like, So there's a lot going on probably
Yeah,
right now. It's just finally hitting Travis Kelce.
yeah. And it's just not Kelsey. Mahomes. He hasn't been the best this year. And he even agreed with that. But they're the Chiefs. They always figure it out, and I think they'll pull it together. But yeah, I think the distractions are getting to everybody.
Yeah, like I just don't, they
And
still are explosive. Don't get me wrong. The Chiefs
the
are
loss of
still an explosive team, but
uh,
they're just not getting the gaudy big numbers that you're used to. Mahomes ain't throwing for 400, 500 no more. He's throwing, what you should throw for a quarterback, the average game for a quarterback. But
right,
you know what he still does? He still makes that big defining game throw. He always makes that throw. He has not stopped doing that. So that's why they're still on top. But if Travis Kelce gets it together, I mean, that team's going to be just more dangerous than they've ever been, in my opinion. Because the reason why they'll be more dangerous is because they have so much experience playing with each other. So,
right. So, how do you feel about uh, Patrick Sertan's play today?
very solid play. He made some very, very good hits. He made a great open field tackle on Garrett Wilson. So Garrett Wilson had caught a pass in the flat. He
Yeah,
was about to turn upfield. It looked like he was about to get maybe 20 yards off of that.
yeah,
Patrick Surtain made a right hit with the shoulder, put him
yeah.
on the ground before he could even get a first down.
It was about
Very,
he
very
like
big play right
1-2 yard game,
there.
but
Right.
he is. Yeah, he brings back the definition of a shutdown corner.
Yeah. You
Patrick
know,
Yes.
his dad was a great player himself for the what he was, for us
Yeah,
being a nickelback. But obviously he done taught him some stuff and took it to another level. And that's
and
one thing you want as a father and a son. You want your son to be better than you. And he sure
exactly.
has shown that he is better than his dad.
I'm
And
sure he's
he's looking like he
proud.
could be up there with all time greats at
I'm
this
sure
point
he's
if he
proud.
keeps this play up.
Yeah, it's been flawless play from him, and I was really into the Bronco game, so that's why I keep going back. But what about the pass game? I think the offensive line has to help Bo Nix because he's scared to make mistakes. So that's why he doesn't take too many chances. He doesn't want to have those mistakes and those interceptions on his belt. But I think he needs to start taking more chances and trusting his receivers. I think he trusts Cortland Sutton. You know, but I don't. I want him to just go for it. Just put it
Like,
out.
but see, I'll put it like this. You could be the most talented quarterback in the world. You could be the most talented running back in the world. But if your offensive line is not good and doesn't,
Right.
cohese together as one, it's
If
not
your
going
offense
to be what you want. The results are not going to be what you want.
can't protect their quarterback, then you can't expect him to, get the ball out there to anybody. You can't expect him to be 100% all the time. You can't expect him to keep a steady head throughout the game. If he's worried about getting hit before he can even get a chance to look at the check down. So I think he's been rushing a little bit to get the ball out of his hands. And then, the Jets played a good defensive game. They didn't barely gave up any yards after the catch. But a big part of that is because Nix never looks at the check down or looks at any other, routes. He'll watch them
Right.
through, and by the time they catch it, They already watch his eyes and what route he's focused on. So they're able to make the immediate tackle. So I think that's where some places he can improve. Moving his eyes around, like just all the greats. You know what I'm saying? They know how to, turn the head and throw it right back the other way. And I think that'll help because safeties, linebackers, cornerbacks, they definitely watch quarterbacks' eyes. And that shows them where they're gonna go with the football. And if you watch the whole route get done and then throw the ball, he is throwing it like right on the money for a direct hit. A lot of the plays he did complete. But
Yeah, yeah. Like I think he'll get better with that. But you do remember in the first game against the Seahawks, former safety, and he was pretty former Pro Bowl safety, Adam Archuleta, who is now a commentator. There was one particular play where Bo Nix was just looking at one receiver, and right when he threw it, Adam Archuleta, who was a ball hawking safety himself, he immediately said, "Oh no," and then it was picked off, like because he said he's already just locking in on one receiver. So that's
yeah,
all safeties do. They're gonna look at he just looks at one guy. He don't look at nobody else. So
yeah.
and that's who he's gonna throw it to. So if he fixes that,
Hope
and
he
he will over time.
home and they touch base on that because that's a big part of if he'll be successful or not. So
Yeah, I don't care who you're on. If you ain't
uh,
got no good line, you're not
has
gonna be good.
plenty of weapons, so there's no reason for him to just look at one route, you know, like he has to open his horizons. But right now he's just trying to get comfortable because the league is so much faster and he probably is overwhelmed with being rushed, and then he's been rushed a lot this year already. So
And it's a long season. So
yeah,
this is the first quarter. They still got 3 quarters of the season. So the first four is out the way. Now you got to worry about the second one, the third, and obviously
did two
the
and two
end.
out of the four. That was pretty good.
Yes, you will take 2-2 at any day, after 4 games. So, you know,
And it's like no one had a good day offensively in the whole game. Like a really great game. Not even Aaron Rodgers. Like the weather played big effect in that game.
that is true. That's very true.
What was how many yards did Knicks have
Let me see, because I'm telling you right now, it was probably like 60 something yards, I believe. It was
passing?
like I couldn't believe. Yes, it was.
Yeah,
He
Knicks
was 12 or 25,
at,
for
at
60
half.
yards and a touchdown. That's a whole game right
You
there.
said it
Like
was
that's insane.
60 yards.
60 yards total pass.
Yeah, like, and you can't have that. What they need balance within the team, and Knicks has the weapons. I just think what's bothering him is, yeah, being protected and seeing the whole field. He has to open his vision up.
You got to remember, John Elway, he had a really great line late in his career. Sometimes it takes a long time to develop lines, and keep a great line together. And
Yeah.
that's one thing that the NFL, I used to think it was your skill players and stuff that made the NFL. And no, it's the big uglies up front. They the ones that make or break
They
your team.
they make how the game is gonna, the turnout of the game.
Right. And they don't get the glory at all. At all. But
You know, how they
you know, they
now.
make the game. every game. They make that game.
Everybody talking about all their plays and highlights, but they get paid, they get compensated now.
Yeah, they get compensated, but they just don't hear about them too much. Like you had your Anthony Munoz, Jonathan Ogdens, and the big names like that. But those guys, they do way more than what everybody sees.
Yeah,
So when your quarterback has 400 yards passing a game for like an 8-game stretch, that's mostly
yeah.
offensive line play, giving them enough time to see an open
He's
receiver.
really, you know, he gets enough time to pick and choose his throws and makes the correct throws. So
This is
the
why team
offense
football is so important. This is why they call it a team,
team, yeah,
because so many aspects have to work at
you
the
know,
same time.
you gotta play a role.
And if you don't play your role, is it your one role, one mistake could mess up everybody else's. And
Exactly.
you're not blocking, and he throws it away, and he doesn't throw away far enough, and he gets intercepted. That's a team. That's a team
Yeah, play your
mistake.
position and do what your position is supposed to do, and the team will succeed. You know.
And it's also coaching is involved in that as well. Um, like I'm gonna bring this one up. My Jacksonville Jaguars, they played against the Houston Texans today. Man, they were up 20-17.
Yeah,
They had
late.
a nice drive, an 8-play, 87-yard drive. Instead of taking a field goal and going up by 6 on the road, Doug Peterson makes a call to go for it on 4th and 1 at the goal line. Okay, if you're gonna like try to do a quarterback sneak or something, I
Yeah,
can see you doing that. But why would you call a play in shotgun and then a quarterback draw and he gets ate up immediately in the
I
middle?
I just think they should have closed the game out, like, or tried to that possession before that. Because
They had opportunities in the game. Like
they
there was one drive,
nine
it was
seconds on
like with
the clock.
3 minutes
Yeah,
left, and they threw 2 passes.
exactly.
You know,
And
like
if
you don't throw 2 passes with 3 minutes
throw
left.
screen, throw something, a dump over the middle. Keep it. Keep the clock moving. You know,
And what's crazy about that?
and like
Houston punted every time in the second quarter. I mean, second half. They
and
punted every time.
can't give him that last possession. Like what was it? They 20 seconds or something left. They scored, but and that's what worried me in the Bronco game because we can't give Aaron Rodgers that last possession either. So it's like, oh
Right.
man,
But Aaron Rodgers, it looks like he had that weather was involved, and then he just wasn't executing his plays either.
yeah, yeah, and he was getting tagged around too. He definitely was getting it, catching that helmet.
That is
So
true. Like, and the Jaguars, is their season all the way over? It's looking like that right now
no,
because
season is all the way over right now. It's just
it's early.
this
0
is
and 4. You don't want to start 0 and 4.
yeah,
You never want to.
that's not the momentum.
But I've also seen teams start 6-0 and then not make a playoff.
Yeah, and
I've
I've
seen that.
seen teams start 0-6 and make the playoffs.
So, that's what I'm saying. And they've
I,
been losing to playoff teams from
this
last year.
first
So
5 weeks is really how when you mold your team together. When they really become a team and understand how to play against you know um, the high you know the high play of NFL football. Like the speed of
right.
the game, like all that, and it takes some time for you to get that together, but that's what the first 4 games are for. I think it's like an extended preseason, but this is real. Now it's
Yeah,
real.
with your team, with your actual guys that you want out there.
Yeah, and
So
this is
I
like
do believe that.
first four games.
Another game that I was a little surprised at was the Eagles and the Buccaneers. I'm sorry, but the Eagles don't look as dominant like they used to,
And
and they have a lot of talent over there in Philadelphia.
what was the end score of that?
33-16 was that score.
Yeah, 33 points. And what was Hurts' statistics?
And Jalen Hurts in that matchup, let me see what he did in that matchup because it was just a little shocking. Like, man, like these guys was playing like this. Because he struggled in the first, then he picked it up. So he was 18 to 30, 158 yards and a touchdown. And then he obviously ran for a touchdown. So, he had like a subpar game. Saquon Barkley had a pretty solid game, 84 yards on 10
Hey,
carries.
shout out to Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, Saquon is definitely, he is the best free agent signing. Well, maybe the second one because Derrick Henry is now proven he is definitely the best free agent signing of this offseason because
Yeah,
Derrick Henry's had 300 yards in the last 2 games.
shout out to both of those guys because, like, people, undermined both of them. Like, they didn't have it no more. And this proves that, I hate how they've downplayed the running back position.
But if you think about it, the running back is returning this year. Like running games have been taking over games this year. Like the quarterback play ain't as like, prevalent as it has been in the last few years, like so far in these few weeks.
It is, but I just, I'm a old school football kind of dude. So, you know, I like when, they got those 14, 1,500 yard seasons or, you know, but it's like now all they, it's just running backs are so expendable. Their contracts aren't like any other position, they're, they can just have, all I want is fresh legs in the backfield. I don't think they really want like to invest in dominant running backs anymore. Like back in the day, you'll have your Eddie Georges, Terrell Davis. Those are franchise players,
Right.
and they carry the team. But now, like every time you give a franchise running back, they've downplayed the position so much that they think they're expendable. Like a
Yes.
Derek, a Saquon Barkley, those are franchise running backs, franchise players.
And they
And
should have both still been playing for the New York Giants and the
exactly,
Tennessee Titans.
but now at that position, since there's so much talent in that position, they think, oh, we can get another one. But they have to understand these players are rare, and that's why I'm glad Saquon and Derrick Henry can go somewhere else and display that. Like, like just because, you know, we're getting older doesn't mean, I deserve any less. Like,
That's right.
I don't like how they've done with that. And, I think they really need to, someone needs to dedicate to the run game again. And it can be done. There's great running backs out here. Like, but the pass game is just, elevated. And I like it, but I just like the old balance of the league, the old balance of the game.
Well, it's getting like that. It's going to get balanced again because if your quarterback play, which hasn't been good in these first 4 weeks overall in the league, you're going to eventually have to run the ball. And, some defenses ain't even prepared for that. The Dallas Cowboys have not been prepared for that. The Buffalo
Like,
Bills were not prepared for that tonight.
Who's the highest paid running back?
The highest paid running back, I believe, is Saquon Barkley. I believe it is him.
Okay, and his deal is what? How much?
Saquon's deal is undervalued for sure. Saquon's let's see his contract. He's at 37 million, 3 years, 37 million. 26 million is guaranteed, and averages about 13 million a season. So he's the highest paid running back for sure.
Yeah, but like league wise, that's very low, And like wide receivers get that a year. Quarterbacks get triple that. Cornerbacks, get more. That's like the lowest paid position right now.
Right.
And they're not appreciating the running back art, the art of the running back. They take the most touches probably a game, besides the quarterback. They take a beating. They go in the middle, they take a beating, and I don't know, it's like they're just so expendable. And they know they take a beating. So that's
That's
why they
right.
don't, you know?
Let me see here. Another game that I was looking at, and this is going to be for the Bronco game next week. I want to lead into that. So the Raiders, they won a game over the Browns, and the Raiders are 2-2 on the year. So they're going to be facing the Broncos. Same record, which is very rare. That's ever been in the last, probably 20 years as well. Who do you like in that matchup? Raiders coming to town against the Broncos.
Um, that is an obvious answer for me. I just, there's no debate for me when it comes to the Raiders. But I think the Broncos will definitely have their way with the Raiders this year.
You think they'll have their way with it?
Yes. I don't think the Raiders are, the Raiders always can surprise you, but I think with our defense and, their offense has been struggling real bad. I think it's just going to be on how our offense plays.
It could be another struggle game. I could see another struggle game for
Yeah, I
sure.
can see another close game. I can, because the Broncos have a lot to work on. But
Yeah, I can see that.
if they're on point and play their roles, I think, I think the Broncos should come away with that one.
Yeah, I think it's going to be another struggle game. The
But
Raiders
the
obviously
Broncos,
have a big win already against the Baltimore Ravens of this season. So, they've already been a little battle tested a little.
they're capable. They're capable of some good things. It's just they haven't been consistent. So I think if the Broncos hit on all cylinders, I don't think the Raiders is going to be much of a threat to us at all.
Yeah, I see that as well. The 49ers, they beat the Patriots earlier, 30-13. I think everybody saw that one coming. That brings them to 2-2. Brock Purdy was 15-27 for 288 yards and a touchdown and interception. Jordan Mason, who was filled in very nicely for Christian McCaffrey, had 24 carries, 123 yards, and a touchdown. So they didn't really skip a beat against the Patriots. The Patriots, Gerard Mayo is going to probably take him a while to get us something going there with that team all the way. So pretty much we've gone over most of the games. Let me see what's another one where we missed that we didn't go over. We talked about the Commanders, how they look very good, very surprising team. Let's see, the Rams and the Bears. Caleb Williams, he got a win, his second win today, and they win 24-18 over the Rams. Let's see his numbers. He was 17-23, 157 yards and a touchdown. DeAndre Swift, 16 carries, 93 yards and a touchdown. He had a very good game right there for Chicago at the running back spot. So pretty much we went over all those games, but we still got two more. We got two Monday night games, which is very rare at this point in the year. Who do you like in this one? The first one, the Titans and the Dolphins.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave my feelings out of this one, but the Dolphins, Titans have
Yes,
been struggling offensively and defensively, and the Dolphins, their offense is going crazy. So,
and you
you
got to
know,
remember, Miami just signed Tyler Huntley to start in this game because the other guy that they had, Skylar Thompson, he had an injury and he's listed as the emergency quarterback. I'm surprised that Mike McDaniel and the GM for the Miami Dolphins, they haven't tried to go find another quarterback, with all the stuff going on with Tua Tagovailoa and everything. But,
yeah,
Tyler Huntley, former Baltimore Raven and former Cleveland Brown, he'll go in there and fill in for this game tomorrow. And I think he can do it. I seen Josh Dobbs do it, so I think he can do it. And I like them over Tennessee. For some reason, just Tennessee is still trying to figure things out. Calvin Ridley, he was signed for a lot of money, and he has not appeared yet. He has not made a real impact yet. Um,
yeah,
so it's a lot
they
of things going on there in Tennessee.
can't get anything started going up in Tennessee. Not the run game. No, the offensive line hasn't been looking too good. Will Levis has struggled, and yeah, I don't know. I think Calvin Ridley, I think he definitely deserved his contract. But what made Calvin really great was having a lot of other weapons as well,
Yes.
around him.
Last year he had 1,000-yard season with the Jaguars, but there was a lot of talent there as well. There's a lot of talent there in Tennessee too, but for some reason it's just not clicking there. Like we just talked about earlier, everything has to click in order for everybody to be a success on a team. So maybe they'll get it together. Maybe they'll try to find some rhythm tomorrow. Remember, they did have that big win against Miami last year, I believe, on Monday Night Football last year. So maybe they can do another upset, but I do like the Dolphins in that matchup as well. And then the second Monday night game is the Seattle Seahawks at the Detroit Lions. Who do you like in that
Um, I got Detroit on Detroit right there.
Yes, I like Detroit in that matchup as well. Jared Goff, Jameer Gibbs looks really good at running back with David Montgomery. Amon-Ra St. Brown, good receiver.
Yeah,
Jameson Williams,
God,
very
man,
good deep threat.
I
They're just
fuck,
very explosive on offense.
I fucks with Gibbs, man. That's my guy.
Yes, yes. Jameer Gibbs, he's definitely proven to be a really good asset for Detroit this year. The defense is very good. I do like the defense. They're playing better than expected. Last year they played good defense, to get to the playoffs, but this year they're trying to look more elite. Aiden Hutchinson is a good pass rusher that they got on that side of the ball, and they look really good. So I like them at home against the Seahawks. Seattle is still doing really well. Geno Smith he resurrected his career there. But I just don't think they're just not going to have enough against Detroit on Monday night.
Yeah, unless it's gonna have to be a real good day for Geno Smith and their defense, but the defense is up to par. They're saying it's the new Legion of Doom, right? Or Legion of
Yeah,
Boom.
yeah, I can see that. It's got to get back up there to that level, because that was a
Well,
great
this
defensive secondary.
determined. I think this game would be a determining factor if they
So
were
yeah, it's a good test.
that
It's a
good.
very good test. So those are some very, very interesting matchups there.
So,
We could go over this one as well. Uh, we'll just start with the Thursday night game. I'll pick that winner. We won't go into the full week yet.
all right,
What do you think of that one? The Buccaneers at the Falcons on Thursday night.
the Bucks at the Falcons. I'm going. Oh, that one's a tough one right there. I'm gonna go with the Falcons though. They should pull it off. I'm gonna go with
Yes,
the
I like Atlanta at home as well in that one. I like Kirk Cousins. He has been playing, good, not great, but good enough to win these games.
Yeah,
Tampa Bay, I could see them losing that. They struggle with Bo Nix in week 3.
yeah.
So,
They're off. Their defense isn't really clicking. I think Baker Mayfield he still got some tricks up his sleeve. He's gonna definitely pull out, but he can have he's like 50-50 to me. Like you
right.
never know if he's gonna have a good day or bad day. But
Yes, it all depends on, how he comes into the game and what he wants to do. And, he's a streaky guy. He could go in there and once he throws 2 touchdowns, he'll throw 4 for the game. Or he can go and throw 2 interceptions and throw 5. Like he's one of them type quarterbacks. He's been more consistent in Tampa than he had been in the previous seasons. But
so
against the Falcons, I think they'll have a game plan for him Thursday night.
in your opinion, who is the best best quarterback playing football right now?
Until anybody shows me any different, Patrick Mahomes. He's playing the best quarterback right now.
Right now, okay.
I can't see nobody else at this point. Jaden Daniels has a very impressive completion percentage, but I wouldn't say his team isn't undefeated. They're 2-2. Or no, they're actually not 2-2. They're actually 3-1, aren't they?
3-1.
I think they're 3-1.
Yeah, they're
A,
3-1.
a surprising 3-1. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, very surprising 3-1. But Patrick Mahomes ain't lost yet. So I can't say anybody else is playing better quarterback than him at this point. What about you? Who do you think is playing the best quarterback right now?
I could agree with Mahomes. I think Justin Fields is playing pretty good right now. Or did I say Justin Fields?
Yeah, you said just.
No, not Justin Fields. I mean,
Although, hey, he did have a great game today, passing and running.
yeah, they're undefeated too.
No, they did
Uh,
lose. They lost
that's
to Indy today,
one.
and
Yeah,
that's another thing. Joe Flacco still
yeah.
playing.
Flacco came in and held it down. He's one of the greatest backups you can have.
Right, he turned into that. Like. But yeah, like Patrick Mahomes, until
Yeah.
he loses or something, I haven't seen nobody playing better football than he has. I just haven't at the quarterback position this year. You can make a case for Let me see.
Make a case for I could say, oh, Jared Goff's been pretty good.
Yeah, you could say case for him. Like I said, Jaden Daniels, he hasn't been very good percentage wise. Um, let's see. Let me think of somebody else with quarterback play. Uh, I can't even say Brock Purdy because he had some mishaps in 2 games.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold, he's been playing good enough, but I
He
wouldn't say it's the best
probably
quarterback play.
not the best. Yeah, I'll go with Mahomes too as well, honestly.
Yeah, I can't. There's a lot of good quarterbacks out here, but I just haven't seen nobody just wowing. You could have made a case for Josh Allen. Maybe that's who you was thinking of because he was playing pretty
Yeah.
lights out, but I'm not quite sure
But
about that. So,
like CJ Stroud's been playing pretty good, but he can do a little better. I think he will though. But running back position, who's that?
Saquon Barkley by far.
Yeah, I,
Saquon, actually, it's a tie. Saquon and Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry ran
yeah.
for like 330 some yards in the last 2 weeks. That's insane, right there.
Saquon and Derrick Henry for sure. Yeah,
So,
definitely.
so I would say they're definitely, the best right now. I can't see nobody else being better than them at the running back spot. And there's some other good running backs out there, but I just don't see it. At wide receiver, Justin Jefferson, he's still
Mm-hmm.
like considering the quarterback play was up in the air at the beginning of the season. He didn't skip a beat, and he's playing solid wide receiver right now. So
Agree.
Nico Collins, he's actually an up and coming receiver for Houston.
For
I
Houston, yeah.
believe he had I want to say he had 11 catches,
Yeah,
14
he got,
something catches. He had a very good game today. But Nico Collins he had 12 receptions, 151 yards, and a touchdown. He had a really good game today.
all right, Nico Collins for real.
But yeah, Justin Jefferson, he's
What
been pretty solid.
did Zay Flowers have a good game today?
Who?
Zay Flowers.
Zay Flowers, didn't really hear his name too much today. It was more about the running game with them. Like I said, their leading receiver actually was it wasn't even a wide receiver or a tight end. It was a running back. Justice Hill had 6 catches, 78 yards. Zay Flowers had 1 reception for 10 yards. So he was pretty much like a decoy tonight for some reason. You could say it's the weather. I think it was just they were having success running the ball, ground and pound. Like, why
Yeah,
change it? It's working.
yeah. They've never been able to like really fall back on the run game like that. Unless it was just
Right,
Lamar Jackson. You know,
right. But
so
now you got a legit running
now
back there.
it's the real deal. You
You
have
know,
a career running back, and that's just that bothers me so much. Well, I keep talking about it, man. How they don't
I mean,
appreciate
if the move was made, and I couldn't believe Tennessee just felt like they had to move on from him. I'm like,
it's
I didn't
just
see
the
why you
league
move on from a
respect.
franchise back like that.
They feel running backs are only good for 4 years. I feel honestly.
Well, and that's the NFL. They really believe that the guy's only good for the first 5 years of the contract. And then
The other
what they
league,
do with the running backs is
the other
instead
one,
of paying those guys who deserve it, like Saquon and Derek did, they go out and then they get, a new running back in a draft. They'll pick a new guy, fresh running back, where we ain't got to pay him that much, but they can produce a lot for us while they're not
yeah,
getting paid that much.
But they just want fresh legs. But it's more than just fresh legs. Experience is a lot.
Yes, it is. And it takes you far, especially when you need a pass blocking running back. Like you make a lot of money being a pass blocking running back, you know.
Yeah. And without the running back, you can't even pass the ball.
Right. You can't do nothing when you do that, like at all. So but yeah, so yeah, that was pretty good little week recap of the week, of games of NFL week 4. We touched on Carl Anthony Towns being the newest member of the New York Knicks. It's going to be interesting for both teams, see how that plays out. We touched on Coach Prime and CU Buffaloes, Travis Hunter's Heisman hopeful season. Shadur Sanders is playing well. Talked about the Alabama Georgia game. Ryan Hollywood Williams with a great play for the 17-year-old. That was an amazing play. So it was pretty good week overall weekend for football and
And
sports
I'll
in
go
general.
there maybe. That dude. Shout out to freshman.
Yes, big shout out to him. Also, the other freshman, Ohio State's Jeremiah Smith. Man, if y'all have not seen Jeremiah Smith play, I really need to watch that man play. I think he's going to be better, way better than Marvin Harrison Jr. already. So,
And those are
Adam Hurley, he says the Cardinals have a 5'7" midget wide receiver named George. What kind of freaking target is that? Yeah, like Adam Hurley. I don't know why they put a lot into Dortch. He has to be a speedy guy
yeah.
for them to be a target. But I mean, you already got a quarterback that's damn near 5'10". I mean, he's not that big himself. So,
But
the front office there
just
with
think
Arizona, that's a lot right there.
he's probably dangerous after the catch, So
He has to be dangerous after the catch, to be.
probably a
I
good
didn't even
route
realize
runner,
he was that tall.
speed.
Yeah, like it looks like here for his stats today, I mean, he had 4 catches for 38 yards. So, I mean, it doesn't look like they got nothing much after Marvin Harrison Jr. They got Michael Wilson, Elijah Higgins, Imari DeMercado, but he's a running back, it looks like. It doesn't look like they have too much after him. So,
I think they need to bring a big guy in there.
yeah, they're gonna have to. You got to remember they had Larry Fitz for so many years, and I think they got spoiled there in Arizona. They didn't have to worry about getting a a big name wide receiver like that. But Marvin Harrison Jr. can't just be just the guy, especially if you got Dortch right after him. They need to fix that in Arizona. So,
Yeah, George.
Good. Thank you for bringing that up, Adam Hurley. Appreciate that. But yeah, so we pretty much covered everything about sports, about NFL week 4. And yeah, we're definitely gonna do this next week again. Make sure y'all tune in. Appreciate everybody that made comments and that ask questions. We always entertain those, and we do this every week. We're gonna be doing this every week, and
We'll be back next Sunday.
yeah, we'll be back next Sunday after NFL week 5. So, but NFL week 4, wrapping it up right now. Definitely was a good week in football. Like, it's always good weeks in football. Just sometimes certain things, how you think it's going to go, it never goes that way because it's any given Sunday. So,
Any given Sunday.
yeah, so that's right. Any given Sunday. So, yes, until next week,
Hold it off.
Symposium Sports, and we are out.